travel a mystery to you? Are you unsure of the dark secrets on how to find and run a group? Does working with 10, 20, 50, 500 people make you nervous? Today, with my buddy Jennifer from the Goway GroupsOnly team, we bust the myths of group travel.
I liked it, and I like the fact that you didn't call me Jen.
I remember that.
I know. I'm so impressed.
I do occasionally do it.
That's okay. I'm okay with occasional, Don. It's just Jennifer.
I asked you Jen or Jennifer. You said Jennifer. You were very, very adamant about that. As I mentioned in the introduction, I'm speaking to my buddy Jennifer, who's with our Goway GroupsOnly department. So a couple of things about Jennifer. You'll hear as she starts talking. She's not from Canada, as nor am I. We both live here, been here for a long time. Jennifer's from Ireland. And she lives at the moment mid-country being Canada. You're from the Peg, as Canadians refer to Winnipeg, or the surrounds of Winnipeg.
Actually, not even the Peg. I'm living in Brandon, Manitoba.
Brandon, Manitoba.
I know.
That's north, I think, when we caught up last time. Is that right?
It is west of Winnipeg.
There you go.
Yeah, the lovely prairies, Don.
But you're moving, I understand. Is that right?
Well, listen, it's not no news yet.
Oh,
so
sorry.
That's okay. We're still figuring things out, but we look like
I can edit that out.
No, it's okay. We might be going a little bit further west. That's
really?
The plan.
Heading over to where everyone seems to go. So for those who don't know the geography, I obviously don't know the geography of Manitoba, but a lot of people from eastern side of Canada will move to the west, and they head to an area called Kelowna. Is that where you're looking at?
I would like to go to Kelowna, but I think we're going to go not that far west, and
maybe
stay in Alberta, the Alberta area.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, time will tell.
Time will
it's
tell.
A fluid situation, Don.
Yeah, okay. Understood. So as you can tell, Jennifer is not based. So we're coming at you, for those watching and listening, from our Toronto office. For those who don't know, we have offices here in Toronto, Vancouver, Los Angeles, Sydney inbound, and we have a very large administration office in Manila. But again, as Jennifer has alluded, she's not neither, and she's remote, as a lot of our staff are, which a lot of our groups people are as well. Is that right?
Yeah, we're literally spread from Newfoundland right across to Victoria and down to Los Angeles. So we've got all areas covered.
Are we all North America, or do we have some international bodies in the groups peoples?
We've a lot of international bodies, but they're all based in North America.
They're all both North America.
Yes.
So that's important. I was just at a conference this week, and I was pointing out, actually in two over the last 2 or 3 weeks, one East Coast, one West Coast. What's good about Goway Groups or otherwise is that we have people, as you said, all over the country, so they can be working on our agents' time zones, which is important. So as the introduction would indicate, we want to talk about groups today. Obviously, that's why Jennifer's here, but also any myths that might surround groups. Now, I know a few, but I'm going to leave it to the expert here, Jennifer. So actually, before we get into it, just for those who may not have heard you before, we have done some webinars together. What's your title? What's your role within the groups world for Goway?
I have a fancy title, Don.
You have a fancy title?
I have a fancy title. It is Senior Sales and Reservations Manager for the GroupsOnly division.
So you look after our team, basically.
Yeah, so we
from
have...
from a high level.
Yeah, we do. So I oversee the Africa, Asia and the Americas side of things. And then we have Alana, who looks after Europe and South Pacific.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So as we've discussed, we've got people everywhere who can help you out with groups. So again, before we get into the details of the myths, let's just clarify what a group is to Goway. It is 10 people.
10 or more adults doing the same itinerary.
And you'll be pleased to note I was very specific at my conferences about adults versus kids. And the reason for that is, as in, why do we define adults versus people in general?
The important thing to note is if you have a family, for example, and there is 6 adults and 4 children or 5 children, you are most likely better off staying with our FIT department, okay? So if there's 10 adults or more plus 4 children, doesn't matter if there's children, we are family friendly here in groups as well. But just from a rate perspective, it's important that we have the 10 adults so we can negotiate those really, really good contracted group rates for your groups.
And the deposit to get a group going is?
Well, the good news, Don, is if you'd asked me this a month ago, I would have said $1,000. But right now we're running a promotion that's going to run up until the end of July, and it's all about celebrating our 55th birthday. So the deposit is $555 right now. Okay. So it's amazing news.
And that's US or Canadian, depending where you're from. There's no exchange rates involved with the deposit. That gets your group underway. And as I explained recently, we always explain this, not just recently, That is to secure the group based on 10. If you walk through the door with 20 or your group goes from 10 to 20 to 50, the deposit does not change. It stays at that. That may vary once itineraries are confirmed and additional deposits may be required. But to get it going, up until July, bonus, 555 US or Canadian to get your group underway. Okay, so Jennifer, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's subject matter. You deal with it day to day. So what are the myths that you run into, or not yourself, because you know they don't exist? Well, the myths exist, but the problems are not probably as insurmountable as people may see. So what are some of those myths that people come to you with when they're asking about getting a group going, or aspects of a group, or when even a group is booked, myths that may come after the fact?
Well, one of the big myths, and to be honest with you, I'm relatively new to the world of groups. Okay, let me make that clear. I've joined Goway 3.5 years ago, and some of these myths I believed, or I didn't know what was true and what wasn't. And I think the big one is that groups are only for retired people,
right?
And they're only for big, large motor coaches. That is 100% a myth.
Okay, myth broken. It's not just for the older retired group of clients.
It's really, really not. And again, as I said, that's probably the misconception that I had about groups. And also that groups are boring. I thought that in a previous lifetime. But here with Goway Groups Only, as we've said already, a group is 10 or more adults. That could be a bunch of millennials. It could be a bunch of friends, girlfriends that just want to go and travel to Bali.
Rugby players, soccer players, sports groups.
I know, do you see the way? I know exactly. It could be whatever you want it to be, as long as you've got those 10 people. And the fun thing about it is, if you've any interests or like-minded people that just want to get away, you can make it a group. Now, that's not to say for the retired folks out there, or the people who do want to have, that big motor coach, we can 100% organise that for you as well. And we love doing that too.
Right.
But that's not what we're all about. It's a broad, how long is a piece of string?
Right. And that's what Goway's famous for, FIT or groups. We will customise everything based on the likes and dislikes of the client or the group in question. Now, there was an example of the diversity of groups that we get. An example we used when we were on the road earlier this year, and I've used it recently as well. So can you just to highlight to people how unexpected, and I guess this would be, well, this goes to your original myth of it's not just for the retired people. So you know the group I'm talking about?
I know, I'm smiling because you love this one.
Tell us all about it.
So again, we're never shocked when people come to us and they're like, we're a group of such and such and we want to put a group together. One that really stands out in my mind, and I know it stands out in your mind as well, Don, is the funeral directors. Yeah. We had a group of funeral directors who wanted to go to Italy. And
it was Italy. I kept saying Argentina for some reason.
No, it wasn't.
But okay,
sure, listen, it could be
Whatever,
Argentina. But we had a group of funeral directors who wanted to explore different funeral homes in Italy. And we organised that for them. So, and we've had loads of different ones since then. Don, we are currently organising, which I think is so cool, a spiritual group to my homeland of Ireland. And the lady is into the whole Celtic spirits, pagans, all that type of thing.
So not the Catholic or
Protestant,
not getting into politics here,
absolutely
but just not the expected faith.
Yeah, let me
Ireland.
tell you, we do a lot of religious groups as well, especially with the new Pope now. There's, I think
the American Pope, he was at a baseball game the other day.
It's sort of reignited. Oh yeah, we get a lot of Catholic groups. We get a lot of all denominations. But I found this particular one where it was a spiritual healer. She was really, really interested in the Celtic like paganism and all different things like that. And it was so, obviously talking about my homeland.
Of course.
It is so interesting when you're sitting there and delving deeper into it and talking about putting sessions around stone rings and fairy rings and all that type of stuff. So we have, let me tell you, it is the funnest job in the world that we get to talk to people about stuff like this.
Well, I was going to say, because even at the FIT level, one of the things about travel is you hear people's dreams and aspirations when it comes to travel. And if you're into it, which most people who are in the business are, because that's why they're doing it, it inspires you because you feed off their enthusiasm. But I'd say, based on the couple of examples you've had too, that we just brought up now, and there are many more, that the whole experience of learning about new things as well. So, I like history, so the fact that there's a woman and her group are into the pre-Roman, pre-everything, pagan religions and how they want to set it up would be really, really interesting.
Yeah. And listen, we've just busted another myth. Did you realize that?
Myth broken. It's not
Because one of the myths about groups is that groups is really boring and cookie cutter. That is so not us.
Yep. We're just going to interrupt for 1 second. We have Nikki Cox. Nikki also works in our groups department, and she's been kindly enough, because when we're recording this, for those listening and watching, because Nikki's in camera shot at the moment, it's 8 o'clock on a Friday morning. I just got back from Florida yesterday. Jennifer, as we just discussed, is from Manitoba. Nikki is in Vancouver, and they're all in town for a sales conference. So it's 8 o'clock here, but for the girls, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So you did the important job. Thank you very much,
Nikki.
Yeah. So we're enjoying our coffee now. So the second myth you said we've just busted?
Groups are boring.
Groups are boring.
Because they're, listen, we've just said it there. They are far from boring. They're absolutely as exciting as you want them to be.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Just from what those two examples, which I reiterated again on how different that they are to what maybe people expect. Hence, again, another myth busted. So another thing that I know for a fact, again, speaking to agents recently at these conferences, when I ask them, do they do groups or want to get into groups? Because there are people who are established out there who do it and may not know the diversity, which we just discussed, or who are new to it. And I guess one of the myths that I try and break down at the time is people think it's difficult to handle 10, 15, 20 people. Now, there is a challenge to it without a doubt, which is why we have a dedicated groups department, because there are aspects which are different than FIT. But let's tackle that myth that they're challenging because you have more people.
Yeah, and listen, I understand that. I want to say, is this a myth that groups are intimidating? They are intimidating for some people. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, we have a massive dedicated groups only team that are here to help you with that group. So whether you have 10 people or you have 40 people, it's the exact same. It really, really is. It's just we're here to help you. If you've never done it before, I understand how it might be a little bit of a challenge. But what we deal with agents throughout North America who may be really, really experienced in the groups world, or you'll have greener agents who are so used to booking FIT. That's where we're here to help. We're here to guide you. So if you feel that groups are intimidating or you're worried that it's too much work, really, if you're booking 4 people going to Argentina, why not book 14 people going to Argentina?
And this is why we both agree this is a busted myth as well, because myth broken. It's not just exactly as you said there. FIT's fun, as groups, but you have 4 people on this particular itinerary, and they're all rightfully so putting their, I want this, I want that, and it's it's a challenge, as any booking is. Whereas groups, you can take that same itinerary. Generally speaking, there are exceptions to every rule, but take that one itinerary and on-sell it to 10, 20, 30, 40 people. So it's actually easier. It's probably more challenging to get it going because you have to corral, be the Pied Piper, get your 40 people on the same page. But once they agree, then you're doing one itinerary for 40 versus 40 itineraries for 40 people, right? So once you get going, it's dare to say or use this word, it's easier. Was that?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, there you go. From the expert. No-brainer, in fact.
No-brainer, everybody.
Another myth that's often put forth, or people come in thinking this, that groups will be more expensive. Myth broken. It's not just for...
I'm going to say that is a myth, and I'll tell you why. Because our job is to negotiate the best contracted rates for you, okay? I think sometimes the myth is the more people I have, the cheaper the price may be. I'm going to sit in the middle at that, okay? It can be a fact sometimes, it can be a myth sometimes. All I can assure you is we will do our best to get you the best rate out there. But I think with groups, the important thing to note is what we're all about is creating those experiences that you may not be able to do if you're an FIT client as well. We love putting together those really unique, immersive activities that you get to do if you're a group. Because guess what? The excursions, the restaurants, the hotels, they're willing to play more ball with you if you've got more people coming. Because at the end of the day, we're all in the business of making money. So our partners on the ground do a phenomenal job at curating these amazing experiences. And really, the big thing about making more money or things being more expensive, the big opportunity for an agent to make more money is we will be very, very confident as soon as you've got a group on the ground in Dubai. I'm going to pick Dubai, for example. You'll be damn sure that group wants to go on your next trip to Ecuador.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be wowed. And that's what we can do here at Groups Only. We can wow your clients.
And it's important to remember that too, which most experienced agents will understand, but for those who may be newer to the industry, that it's repeat business. That's what makes Goway so successful, and what in turn will make you very successful is if you do it FIT or groups, you deliver that perfect trip for the first time, they'll more than likely come back to you for the second. Just going back to the pricing thing, having worked in product for most of my professional career, as Jennifer says, the more people you have will generally help the pricing because, you know, the more people, things come down. But it's important to know that at certain, break points, so to speak. So if you're sort of anywhere between 15 and say 25 people, okay, and the price is this, or the free spot is built in, okay, which we can do. We won't get into that, but we can arrange that for you. You then hit into maybe the 30. Prices may all of a sudden jump per person, and it's not for any other reason than more people equals bigger transport, bigger buses, which obviously have a higher cost. So there is certain little humps along the way where prices might be $10 per person, then they bump to 15, and then once you get over a certain number, they drop back down to 10 and lower again. So just keep that in mind.
That's a really, really good, important thing to note, because I think a lot of people think historically, especially if you're used to selling all-inclusives, where it might be, you know, a big wedding group going down south or something like that. And for the most part, the more people you get, the lower the price. Because everything that we're doing is customized and tailor-made, the more people you have, if they're in the same motor coach, okay, I'm going to pick Dubai, for example. If it's the same motor coach, the more people you have, the cheaper the price will be for the most part.
Yep.
However, when you start bringing in another motor coach, that's where it's driving the cost up. And to be honest with you as well, to me, we can do groups of any size, okay, as long as you've got the 10 adults or more. What we suggest and what we've seen happen a lot lately is you might launch a group to my beautiful homeland of Ireland, and we know everybody wants to go there, okay?
Of course they do.
And the agent has launched it, and she's like, Jennifer, I've sold out. I've got, 30 people on this group. What we suggest then is add in a second departure. Firstly, there's nothing better than telling your clients, do you know what? Too late, we're sold out, but let me sign you up for our next tour that's going in whatever amount a month's time. It creates that FOMO for people of, oh my God, I should have jumped on it quicker. FOMO. Fear of missing out.
There you go.
Fear of missing out. So that's what we're seeing now is we want you obviously to make money, but we want your groups to have the best time as well. And sometimes if you have a much larger group, the experience is a little bit different. So in my opinion, that sweet spot around that 20 people is perfect.
Right.
When you start getting into the 30s and 40s, it's not to say we can't do it or don't do it. We get a lot of those groups, especially for pre or post cruise, where of course you're going to have more people. But if this is a group that you're just putting together, you're marketing this idea because you really want to go to Scotland, stick with a smaller number maybe, because again, the experience is a little bit different. You can do some of those really fun, unique activities that you might not be able to do if you have that big full motor coach.
Yeah.
And that brings us into another myth. The myth that the itineraries are really jam-packed and there's no flexibility. It's a fact for bums in seat set departure tours.
Yes.
Okay, that is a fact. But the myth is that's not what we do here at Goway Groups Only.
At all. Myth broken. It's not just for
Yeah, so we purposefully, I don't even know if that's a word.
Purposely, yeah.
Is it?
It is.
It's very, as we said, it's very early in the morning.
Yeah.
But as we've said already, what we do is we customize everything. So to me, when you're going on a holiday to, where are we going to pick? We're going to pick Colombia right now.
Yeah, let's pick Colombia. Well, actually, it's our highlight of the month next month. There you go.
And I didn't even know that. So there you go.
Yeah.
We want people to go and enjoy a place. And I've been fortunate enough to have gone on some of the seat-in the big set departures. Yeah. I've been in them and they're brilliant. Don't get me wrong. But it's up and going every morning, leaving your bag outside your door, and it's giving you a great taste of a place. A taste. Yeah. It's like a cruise. It gives you a taste. Yeah. But at Groups Only, we want to tailor make an itinerary for you that you've left going, God, I love that place, or I really enjoyed it, and I had enough time to sit outside and dine al fresco and people watch or do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's not about those stringent, rigid, jam-packed itineraries. That's not what we're all about, unless that's what your clients are looking for. Okay. So
just going back to the numbers aspect as well, another thing that's, again, it's not really a myth, but it's worth a bit of advice here. From the FIT world, and I have done groups as well, but focus was FIT. The more people you have when you're looking for a exclusive experience or event, like access to a museum, access to somewhere after hours, it can often be done for 2 or 3 people, but if you walk in and say, I have 20 people who want to visit your museum after dark or something like that, it's not a promise, but you'll often have more power to get that arranged for it, because from the local operator's point of view, to what you said earlier, more people, the more money it is. So they're more incentivized themselves to grant access and offer those special things, which is something that FIT, Goway, and Goway Groups do very, very well. Another thing you brought up, pre and post. We do a lot of that. We have a lot of cruise agent partners out there. So again, it can be an FIT for 2 people you've booked on a cruise, or particularly if you're doing groups, the pre and post and short excursions can be handled by our Groups Only department, correct?
Yeah, they sure can. And we do a lot of pre and post touring, so absolutely.
And
we
again,
can do that.
Pre and post, it's all private for your individual booking or groups, as the case may be. It's commissionable at your normal commission rates. Mm-hmm. Now, groups structure their pricing a bit differently, but still you will make more money than you would directly with the
cruise line.
With the cruise line.
Absolutely.
And we're more often than not cheaper than the cruise lines as well.
Yeah, and it's important to note as well, because I know we get a lot of agents who may have booked with the cruise line directly, and then they're like, oh, will I book it with the cruise line for my excursions or for my air? Mm-hmm. Remember, a lot of the time you're only making the 5%. Don't take that as gospel, but it might be 5% on pre-cruise hotels, same with the excursions and same with the air. So remember, we have a full air consolidation department as well, so we can look after your air, the private transfers and the private excursions for your group as well. Okay. So we're a one-stop shop here at Goway Groups Only.
You are, we are. Yes,
we all are.
We are.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up in a minute, but there's one more important myth that needs to be busted big time here, is that, and it's something I was actually asked at a lot, as our account managers are, that you get your 10 people, 10 or more, right? And then you have a cancellation or a few cancellations. People are nervous that the group is then done, that everything needs to be cancelled. And that is a
big myth.
There you go.
Okay.
Myth broken. It's not just for...
Because remember, a lot of the times when you're booking a group here at Groups Only, a lot of people are booking it 12 to 18 months out. Not to say we can't do it if it's shorter, okay? But on average, it's 12 to 18 months out. And you may think that you've got 18 people going to Dubai, okay? And then you find out that actually it goes down to 10. Now, that's no problem. You know, it's no problem if your numbers change. We're going to be in communication with you all the time. It's a journey, and we're on the journey together. But your group will not fall apart. Now, if it does go below 10, it's important to note that the group rates may not apply, so we may have to reprice it. We put all of this in our proposal when we send it out to you. But I think it's also important as well as if you've got the idea that you want to send people to Dubai and you don't have your passengers yet, please utilise us here at Groups Only. We would be more than happy to jump on and do a presentation with your clients. Remember, as Don said at the beginning, our Groups Only team is very, very diverse. You have to have an accent to work at Goway if you didn't realise. Yeah. We're from all different places. So again, we'll pick my homeland. You've got a group going to Ireland. You don't have your people yet. I am more than happy to put a presentation together. Jump on. Tell them about my fabulous homeland. Tell them about the itinerary that you've curated with one of our group specialists, and let us help you sell your group. We're not just a bucket and run type of people. We want your group to be a success, and we want you to fill the numbers, because at the end of the day, if you've got 20 people on traveling, you're going to make more money.
Yep.
So don't worry about if your numbers reduce. As I said, the only time when it goes below that 10, we may have to reprice it, but we will from the beginning tell you what the price is for 10 to 15 people, 15 to 20 people. So you're very, very clear on what your price point is. But again, don't be afraid. If you need a little bit of help, we are here to help you. And we understand everyone's experience is a little bit different. And we all learn. We're all green at one stage as well. And some people are in the industry donkey's years. I don't know if you say that in Canada, but
we do now.
Yeah, you're in the industry donkey's years and you've never sold a customized group before. Don't worry. Come to us. We love nothing more in helping you and guiding you. So don't be afraid.
And it's important to note on that point is that when you do contact Goway GroupsOnly, and the same for FIT, that the person you speak to only sells that region, or Groups is a bit more broader. They sell multiple regions, but they specialize in the regions that they're assigned to. And once you make that communication, say it's with Jennifer doesn't sell, but if Jennifer was one of our frontline destination group specialists, you work with her the entire process. And to her point, she will assist you with presentations, with marketing suggestions, with how to get a group going. Segue, we have a dedicated 6-7 part module in the Goway Pro Travel Academy, all about groups, how to find them, how to get them going, how to market them, the whole thing. So there's that support as well through our academy. Our individual destination specialists will assist you. Our account managers out there will also stay in touch with you, assist and help you find ways to get your groups together. So in other words, to Jennifer's point, you make that phone call, make that email, you're not alone. From the moment you contact us, you're with your dedicated destination specialist, and behind the scene, a team of product, account managers, all there to make your group a success. So on that note, Jennifer's actually got to fly off to a sales meeting because we have half our groups department actually in town at the moment doing a sales meeting. So is there anything else you would like to leave from a myth-busted point of view, or a general summary or sign-off to our listening audience about groups and Goway Groups
listen,
only?
Just firstly, a big thank you for allowing us to talk about all things groups, and don't be afraid of it, and reach out. As said, it's a journey together.
Scary. They're not scary at all.
They're not scary, and again, I thought they were scary. They're not. They're fun, and you can make great money from them as well, and the repeat business. And I'm just excited. Groups is on the up, and it's trending, and it's the place to be. It
is, because at the recent conferences, I just bring them up because I just filled in for Corey, one of our account managers, and the boys, they're all boys at this stage, are out there, conferences and doing sales calls and stuff like that, and they get asked all the time, how do I start a group? Because people want to get involved, because as Jennifer has highlighted today, once you get over the miss, realize they're busted as of today. It's a challenge. Don't get me wrong. Nothing's easy in this world. There's ups and downs to it all. But I believe that once you get that itinerary set, and we will help you design that perfect itinerary so it's easy to sell, that again, it's never cookie cutter, the itinerary, but the process thereafter is somewhat, here's my itinerary, and either you sell it yourself or your Pied Piper or your group coordinator goes off and sells it. And now you sit back and literally you're selling one itinerary to 10, 20, 30, 40 people. Once you get over that hump of that, then it's easy sailing. But then all the usual associated aspects of travel goes with it. So Jennifer, thank you very much. I appreciate you being up so early.
Thank you very much,
Squeezing us in before your sales conference.
Yep.
Enjoy your flight back to, not the Peg, to Brandon,
Well, I actually
Manitoba.
have to fly to Winnipeg. I do. Yes.
Okay.
The funnest place to be.
Did you watch the hockey the other night?
No.
You didn't?
I know.
Are you a hockey fan?
I'm not a hockey fan.
Not a hockey fan.
Football family, and I'm talking about the kick in the football, soccer.
Soccer fan.
Yes.
So you've never got into, but your husband's Canadian.
My husband's Irish.
Oh, he's Irish.
Don, how do you not even know this? Yeah.
So neither of you have
None of
into
us.
hockey.
None of us are into hockey,
kids
and my
aren't into
kids
hockey?
aren't into hockey. And thank the Lord for that, because do you know what? I've paid too much money for my kids' braces for them to be into hockey.
Yeah.
Expensive
Book groups,
sport.
earn good money. Send your kids, you can play hockey.
I should have been selling groups a long time ago. Could have paid for all those orthodontist bills.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Okay, Jennifer, on that note, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Everyone out there, as always, thank you for your time, and we will talk to you soon.